Hey guys, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. I was going to talk about something totally different. I was actually going to talk about vision and 2020 vision and what that looks like looking ahead for the year, um, seeing clarity, all that mumbo jumbo. But I'm actually going to save that for a totally different video. Something hit me a couple hours ago. I was watching a video. She mentioned beliefs. And I was like, oh my God, all these ideas about belief systems started popping in. So I just was like, let's go with beliefs. Because that sets a foundation for everything that you do and your entire life and how you create it. Your belief systems attract situations, people into your life that show you those beliefs face to face. So I want to dive into that real quick and just talk a little bit about how your belief systems shape your entire reality and how you unconsciously create based off of what you unconsciously believe and receive to be true. So with that, this is why I was guided to theta. Theta healing is a modality that works with the theta brainwave state to clear and bring in new belief systems that create new neural pathways so that you stop creating your life based off of trauma responses that we unconsciously create from the time we're born until we are older. That's why we have parents and schools and teachers to instill beliefs in us, basically. So you take on what you believe to be true as a child. Like Santa Claus was real to you when you were little, because everybody says that he is, and it's a widely received belief to be true when you're little. And then you start questioning things and you start wondering why certain gifts are under there, or why he didn't show up at certain people's houses, or why some kids got some things and you didn't, or vice versa. We start questioning all these things. So when it comes to your beliefs and how to kind of like recognize what you are pulling in and creating is really huge to pay attention to, and gives you clues to what you unconsciously believe. You can have a conscious belief about something, so a frontal cortex belief about something, and then you can have a unconscious belief that contradicts your conscious belief. You can have a belief of, I hate myself, unconsciously, but you can have a conscious belief of, I love myself, because you think that you're loving yourself through what people have told you is self-love. So this comes with us needing to locate and find those belief systems, which can be kind of hard. That takes self-awareness to be able to do. It takes the ability to be able to look at yourself and pinpoint certain things and be able to say, I see that and want to transform that. So with Theta, what we do is go in and find those unconscious beliefs, and then we download them almost like a computer. So I look at a person like a biological computer. There are programs and beliefs that have been programmed into it. There are viruses, all kinds of disturbances in our electrical systems. And then there are programs that we can download to kind of balance that out and to create new neural pathways so that we are creating that what we want, which we don't want is no longer being unconsciously created. So you can have beliefs that are going to keep you in situations. You can have beliefs that are going to keep bringing people into your life that are going to show you what you are in the moment, what you judge in the moment, or what you still don't like about yourself. They're there, situations and people are there to show you lessons. They're there to show you what you are unconsciously creating, because everything that's outside of you is a unconscious projection of what you believe and what you believe to be true about yourself and the world. So you have to be very mindful about what's out there is a reflection of what's in here. So when you think something's happening to you, that's an illusion. It's happening through and for you. So if you have somebody in your life that is continuously telling you something that you already know about yourself, they're there to show you that that place needs a little bit more love. For instance, here's a relational piece. I've been really quiet my entire life, just super quiet, and I've always been a really deep thinker, so I'm just kind of always in my head, and it's not a bad thing, but I used to think it was. For a long time, I was always told as a kid, you need to speak up, you need to do this, you need to do that, blah, 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 blah. So forever, I was thinking of it as a negative trait. I thought, well, I'm not interesting enough. I don't have enough to talk about, or the things that I have to say aren't interesting, or nobody really cares, or blah, blah, blah. I might as well not waste my breath, kind of thing. So for years I felt that way, and I was attracting like partners and people into my life who were continuously jamming that into my unconscious mind of me feeling that way. They would outwardly say, you're too quiet, or you're this, or you're that, or whatever the case is, just because I unconsciously continuously believed that I wasn't interesting, and I was boring, and I was this, and I was that. So I was creating situations and bringing people into my life that were constantly working and pushing that belief into my head. I had to see that, recognize it, and then start healing that part of me that thought it was a bad thing to be an observer. And I started a healing process thinking it was for one thing, and it ends up being something, a million other things, and being totally different than what you thought was what you're originally going in for. I started with healing as being I need to get out and find new hobbies and find new friends and attract my tribe and all this stuff. I thought I had to become an extrovert. And then completely finding out with a bunch of ego blows that is not at all what self-love is about, and then coming back to every aspect of myself that I thought I hated being something that is actually a gift. Being quiet, being an observer, being an introvert, being an old soul, being friends with older women and not being able to relate with girls my age, being actually super interesting, but it just not being celebrated by the right people because I was unconsciously still holding those beliefs that were attracting people that were concreting those beliefs. So I found Theta, and I started changing all of my belief systems, and it resonated with me on such a huge level because there's science behind it and it makes sense to me. There is such thing called binaural linguistics. There are affirmations. There is science behind it, and there are people out there who would say, yeah, that's absolutely true. Scientists, people who are in the medical profession, they can show you and tell you hard, concrete evidence that going into and changing your brain waves can create different states of awareness and open up parts of the brain that have never been activated before. There's science behind it. That's why I love it. It doesn't resonate with everybody, but I also like to do things quick and get it over with. Healing to me, it's very long. It's a really long road, and it's painful, and it's not always fun. It's beautiful and it's amazing, but it sucks. For me, Theta kind of made it easier to say, hey, I've got lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of beliefs. I've lived a lot of shit in a really short amount of time in this lifetime too. So I know that I can recognize that there were patterns in my life being created, and it only takes pain and you to be in so much pain to say, I really don't want to do this anymore. I want to change something. Where do I start? In recognizing where you're being guided to and what resonates with you. Theta did that for me. It was a quick way to just say, here's a belief, let's change it so you don't have to create that anymore. So quick. It rocked my entire world. It resonates on all levels of my being because I've been able to experience those shifts from where my beliefs were creating things to solidify and concrete those negative beliefs about myself, to moving into spaces where I'm finally creating things that I've always wanted, because subconsciously I've downloaded myself with probably at this point hundreds of thousands of beliefs that I didn't have solidified and downloaded into my subconscious mind yet. Now, instead of creating and attracting people who are completely opposite to me negatively to project back to me a solidified, crystalline matter belief back to me of a negative thought form of I don't like myself, I'm quiet, I'm boring, I'm this, I'm that, whatever, to now I'm creating and bringing in situations where people are celebrating the fact that I'm an introvert, and they're celebrating the fact that what I think about is extremely interesting and not boring. I'm starting to create situations where I can talk about things that I think about that never would have felt safe enough to talk about before because I didn't think it was interesting enough. Now I'm finding and attracting people into my life that have the same kind of beliefs, that are lining up with where I'm going, that are recognizing things that I believe as their beliefs too, and they believe it to be true. I'm attracting all these situations and epiphanies and visceral experiences that are just only concreting those new loving beliefs where I've shed light on a lot of shadows. So that's really, really cool to be able to see and notice where your beliefs have led you and how you can kind of start to change them. You need to be able to recognize them, though. You really have to be able to be aware enough about yourself to say, you know, that's an area that needs a little bit more light, or, you know, how do I stop this pattern? Where's the belief? How do I change it? All that kind of stuff. For me, how do I change it was theta. It's really quick. You go in with some brain candy, you say it, you think it, and it's done. It's easy for me and I love it. There's tons of other ways that you can do it. But to me, it made the most sense. There's physics, there's quantum science to it, there's all kinds of hard evidence to it. So I highly recommend that if you are struggling with creating something. I am a certified theta healer. You're more than welcome to book a session with me. You can talk to me about it. I can give you more information about it, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to stop there for now. I'll go into that again. I always kind of add little pieces to each video because it always intertwines, it always connects. It always is showing up in everywhere in our lives. So I'll go into it again. But that's it. We'll be sending unconditional love through every cell of your body. I hope you guys go out there and start creating beliefs that will structure your 2020 with more love and a little less pain. So I hope you guys enjoy. Happy New Year.